Hmm. I think I should have looked more into the people involved in this more than I did. As from most reviews here, here to review my second music biopic this year. In 2 months ago, I reviewed the Bob Marley film One Love. Now it's on to the movie on Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. Hmm. Now, I remember pretty well when Amy Winehouse passed away, 13 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, 2011, that's right. Um, it was, I remember it being, pretty big news, and I think it was the first time I ever heard of the 27 Club, which, in case you don't know, is a sort of a category where musicians and other famous people um, get put into should they die at the age of 27. Not necessarily a good term to use, but that was how I first got exposed to it. Yeah. So going into this, I thought, I think this might be a good film. Could be really interesting. Um, the thing was, there was one thing I didn't quite look into with this, and that thing I should have looked more into was the director. The director of this is Sam Taylor Johnson. To be fair, she hasn't made too many films as a director. In fact, I think she's only made, other than this, she's only made three. Not counting short films, that is. Uh, one of the, it's worth knowing her first two. One was Nowhere Boy, which was a movie based on the life of John Lennon, which I hear it was actually pretty good, yeah, I heard good reviews, even though I haven't seen it. But her most famous film she's ever made is 50 Shades of Grey. Now, whether or not you call those films you among them, you watching this call that a guilty pleasure, yeah, you can definitely tell when this film uh, borrows a lot of things from 50 Shades of Grey. Not so much the story, because I mean, this is obviously based on a real put on how they tell the story, the life of Amy Winehouse is you know um, that doesn't come anywhere close to 50 Shades. But when it it imitates the look of 50 Shades, then you realize it almost immediately, and yeah, that's probably one of the big issues with it. Is just you can definitely tell when it starts to look like 50 Shades of Grey. Uh, um, and well, there's not so much Josh, there's not so much risque moments in this, bar maybe one with a swimming pool scene. Um, as I said, the look at times can is very similar to 50 Shades, and you can almost pinpoint it. You know, some uh, it's a distracting element to it, is what I'm trying to say. Um, though, it is just even if you put that aside, whether or not you can call this it's hard to say whether you can really call this the best biopic ever. Actually, I really don't think you can, but it's it's got serviceable. It's decent. I mean, I give credit to the act to the actors in this. They really helped make this work. I mean, Marisa Bella does a good job as Amy, and Jack O'Connell is also decent as her ex-husband Blake. And yeah, I mean, all the actors do a good job, and I mean, I like all the singing. Uh, how they, whoever did the dubbing, whether it was Marissa herself or someone else dubbing her voice to do the singing part, she does a really good job, and I give full credit to that. I do. I am grateful there's not too much that the issues I have with Bob Marley, One Love, aren't really relevant here. I mean, there's no flashbacks, which happen sporadically and hijack the film. So that's good for me. That was my biggest issue with that. And I do appreciate when they use actual footage from the past, like some footage from the Grammys. That was pretty good. And also, it was kind of nice seeing the late Tony Bennett in it. Um, yeah, but with that said, and it's paced. The film's paced pretty well, but then again, there's still some, you know, objectively there are still some issues. And perhaps the other thing I noticed was, is it just me, or do I think there was a lot of shaky cam in this? Like, I could definitely tell when there was some shaky cam used, and it also got distracting at times, I think. And and then perhaps the biggest issue is actually how they end the film. I mean, obviously you get the closing with basically telling you how that Amy Winehouse died and her age and all that and the year and all that. Yeah, you get that, but she's sort of then all of a sudden just before they show the credits, they show a reenactment of one of her most iconic performances right after they show what they tell us what exactly happened. I'm like, all right, that is really really strange. I mean, it isn't. It's just I don't know if I should call it like Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody like because there was they had that had a similar problem when I reviewed that movie last year, and when it came to how they ended everything. But I don't really know if it's a good idea to basically do the things that you usually end for biopic, and then you sort of cut for the credits to show something a little bit extra in the life. I'm like the life of the person. Like, okay, sure, but I don't get it. Maybe it's something different, Maybe this wasn't a John Lennon film that Sam Taylor Johnson did. I don't know, but uh, it definitely was distracting. So I guess with this is that I'm just not. It's probably look. I think you can probably watch it fine, but I don't know. Just remember that this is made by the same. That you can, if you do feel like this looks very similar to 50 Shades at any point, you're like, just uh, just remember that fact. It can look like that at certain points. It, but I think if you like, biopics and you want to learn a bit about Amy Winehouse's career, go ahead. I mean, you won't get too you're not going to really get infuriated with it. But I wouldn't really call it really special. It's a 4.5 out of 10 has stars for me, and I don't know. I feel kind of bad given that score. Yeah, but I can't really give it anything higher. I had a good time, but yeah, I probably won't watch it again for at least a while. Maybe wait till it comes out on streaming services or I don't know, maybe Blu-ray if it gets released on Blu-ray. Well, with that said, what's next for my channel? Well, just wait and see. I've got a bunch of uh projects coming up. Um, who knows? I might even before I get my next big project out, might get to a request, or I might do a video game review, which I've been meaning to get to. You never know. But in the meantime, House of Masterpieces is out, and I shall see you for my next video. Ciao!